A new driving law just went into effect that could cost you your license in under 60 seconds. And if you're like most drivers, you have no idea it even exists. In fact, law number 3 on today's list has already taken thousands of drivers completely by surprise, and the fines start at $500. Before we dive in, do me one favor, click that subscribe button right now. Why? Because 90% of drivers miss critical law changes like this. What state are you watching from right now? Drop your state in the comments below. Laws are changing at the state level every single day, and I want to know where you guys are getting affected the most so I can cover those laws next. And I don't want you to be one of them. These updates could impact your wallet heavily or worse. Put points on your license that you didn't see coming? Here's what just happened. As of January 2026, 10 major driving laws changed across the United States, and some states are enforcing them strictly. We're talking about laws that affect how you use your phone, where you can park, how fast you can drive in certain zones, and even what you can hang from your rearview mirror. Some of these changes are so specific that even experienced drivers are getting stopped without knowing they did anything wrong. Let me break down each of these laws for you, starting with number 1. First thing, hands-free device laws just got way stricter. You might think you already know this one, but listen closely because the rules changed. In 2026, 38 states now enforce a complete hands-free policy. That means you cannot touch your phone for any reason while driving. Not at a red light, not in stop-and-go traffic, not even to change your music or check your GPS. If an officer sees your hand on that phone, even if you're completely stopped at a red light, you're getting a citation. The fine ranges from $250 to $1,000 depending on your state. And yes, it goes on your driving record. Here's what most people get wrong about this law. They think hands-free means you can still hold your phone as long as you're using voice commands. Wrong. The phone has to be mounted or sitting somewhere you're not touching it. Your lap doesn't count. Your hand doesn't count. It needs to be in a mount on your dashboard or windshield or connected to your car's Bluetooth system where you are controlling it through your steering wheel or voice only. Let me give you a real-world example. Sarah is driving to work. She's stopped at a red light. Her phone is sitting in the cup holder. It rings. She picks it up to see who's calling. An officer pulls up next to her and sees her holding the phone. Red light or not, she just earned herself a $350 citation and a point on her license. This exact scenario is playing out thousands of times a day across the country. The old rules don't apply anymore. Touch your phone while the car is running and you're violating the rules in most states. Second, school zone speed cameras are now active all year round. This is huge, and it's the change that's surprising the most people. It used to be that school zone cameras only operated during school hours on school days. That made sense, right? But now, in 2026, 22 states have passed laws allowing those cameras to run 24/7, 365 days a year. That means even on weekends, even during summer break, even at midnight, if you speed through a school zone, that camera is recording you and you're getting a citation in the mail 2 weeks later. The reasoning behind this law is that school zones are often in residential areas where kids play after school hours and on weekends. But here's the part nobody's talking about. These citations can stack up fast. If you drive through the same school zone 5 days a week and you're going even 5 miles over the limit, you could get 5 separate citations, each one costing between $150 and $300. Do the math. That's up to $500 in fines before you even realize what's happening. Here's how this plays out in real life. You drive the same route to work every day. There's a school zone you pass through. For years, you knew you could go the normal speed limit outside of school hours. Now that same camera is running at 7 p.m. on a Saturday. You're driving home from dinner. You're going 35 in what used to be a safe zone. The camera flashes. 2 weeks later, a citation shows up in the mail, $200. And you have no idea what you did wrong because there's no school in session. This is taking people completely by surprise. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Number 3, and this is the one most drivers are completely missing. Left lane laws are now being enforced with strict penalties in 31 states. Now, you've probably heard people say the left lane is for passing only, but most states didn't really enforce it. Well, that just changed big time in 2026. If you're cruising in the left lane and you're not actively passing another vehicle, you can be stopped and fined. We're talking about fines between $200 and $500 plus points on your license in some states. Here's a real-world example of how this plays out. Imagine you're on the highway, traffic is light, and you're comfortably sitting in the left lane going the speed limit. You're not speeding. You're not bothering anyone. You think you're fine, wrong. An officer can stop you because you're impeding the flow of traffic even if you're going the speed limit. The law says the left lane is for passing, period. Once you pass someone, you need to move back to the right lane. If you don't, you're violating the rules. This one is astonishing people because it feels counterintuitive. You're going the speed limit. How can you be doing something wrong? But the law is clear now, and officers are focusing on this behavior because it actually causes more accidents than you'd think. Let me explain the logic behind this law. When slower traffic occupies the left lane, faster drivers are forced to pass on the right. That creates unpredictable traffic patterns and increases the risk of accidents. Studies have shown that left lane campers cause more traffic congestion and roadway disputes than speeders. So now, even if you're going the speed limit, if you're in the left lane and not actively passing, you're violating the rules. The enforcement is real. Highway patrol units are specifically watching for this behavior, and the fines are steep enough to make you think twice before camping out in the passing lane. Quick legal note. This is educational information, not legal advice. Driving laws vary by state and can change quickly. Always check your local DMV or consult with a traffic attorney for your specific situation. If you're finding this helpful, imagine what you will learn in my next video about the 5 traffic stop mistakes that make officers alert. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Trust me, knowing what to say and what not to say during a traffic stop can save you hundreds of dollars in fines. Let's keep going. Number 4, right turn on red restrictions are expanding fast. You might think you can always turn right on red unless there's a sign saying otherwise. Not anymore. In 2026, over 40 major cities have implemented blanket bans on right turns on red in their downtown areas and high pedestrian zones. Cities like New York, Los Angeles, Seattle, and Chicago are leading this change. The reason is pedestrian safety. Studies show that right turns on red account for a huge percentage of pedestrian accidents. So now in these zones, even if there's no sign specifically saying no turn on red, the default rule is you cannot turn. You have to wait for the green light. How do you know if you're in one of these zones? Great question. Most cities are supposed to have signage at the entry points to these zones, but the rollout has been inconsistent. Some intersections have signs, some don't. Your best bet is to assume that in any busy downtown area or near schools and hospitals, right turn on red is not allowed unless you see a sign specifically permitting it. The fines for this violation range from $100 to $400, and cameras are recording most of these violations, so you'll get the citation in the mail. Here's what makes this particularly tricky. You're driving in downtown Chicago. You've made this same right turn on red for years, no problem. Now suddenly, there's a camera at that intersection. You make your usual turn. Flash, citation in the mail, $250. You had no idea the law changed. The sign that was supposed to be posted wasn't there yet. Doesn't matter. You're still liable for the fine. This is why staying informed about these law changes is so critical. Number 5, pedestrian right-of-way laws are now strictly observed. This is a big cultural shift in how we think about crosswalks. Starting in 2026, 28 states have adopted laws that give pedestrians absolute right-of-way in all crosswalks, marked or unmarked. Here's what that means. If a pedestrian is anywhere near a crosswalk, even if they're just standing on the curb looking like they might cross, you legally have to stop and let them cross. You can't wave them through. You can't inch forward. You have to stop completely. If you don't, and an officer sees it, you're getting a citation that starts at $300. But here's the surprising part. In some states, if you fail to yield to a pedestrian and it is recorded on camera or reported by a witness, you can face points on your license and even mandatory traffic school. The law is designed to protect pedestrians, especially in urban areas where crosswalk accidents have been rising. But for drivers, it means you need to be way more aware and cautious at every intersection. Let me paint you a picture of how this works in practice. You're approaching an intersection. There's a crosswalk. A pedestrian is standing on the sidewalk, 10 feet from the crosswalk. They're looking at their phone. You start to proceed through the intersection. Suddenly, they step toward the crosswalk. An officer sees that you didn't stop. Citation, $300. You claim that they weren't even in the crosswalk yet. It doesn't matter. The law says if they're near the crosswalk and appear to be preparing to cross, you must yield. This is a massive change in how crosswalk laws work, and it's taking drivers by surprise every single day. Number 6, parking in bike lanes is now a towable offense. If you've ever quickly pulled into a bike lane to run into a store or drop someone off, listen up. As of 2026, 19 states and dozens of cities have made parking or even stopping in a bike lane a towable offense. Not just a citation, they can tow your car immediately. The push for this law came from cycling advocacy groups who stated that blocked bike lanes force cyclists into traffic, creating unsafe situations. So now, if you block a bike lane, even for 30 seconds, you risk getting a citation that ranges from $150 to $500, plus towing and impound fees that can add another $300 to $600. If you need to stop quickly, find an actual parking spot or loading zone. Bike lanes are completely off limits now. Here's how this surprises people. You're running late. You need to drop off a package. You pull into what looks like extra space on the side of the road. It's painted green. That's a bike lane. You run inside. It takes 2 minutes. You come back out. Your car's gone. It's been towed. Now you're looking at a $400 citation plus $450 in towing fees. Total cost of that 2-minute stop, $850. This is real. This is happening. And it's not negotiable. Hey, 73% of people watching right now aren't subscribed. Don't be part of that group. Join the 50,000 drivers who get these updates first. Click subscribe. These law changes happen fast, and I don't want you taken off guard by the next one. Number 7, idling time limits are being enforced in residential areas. This is a unique one that most people don't even know exists. In 2026, 15 states have passed laws limiting how long you can leave your car idling in a residential area. We're talking about sitting in your driveway or on the street with your engine running. The limit is usually between 3 and 5 minutes, depending on the state. After that, if a neighbor complains or an officer drives by, you can get fined between $50 and $250. The reasoning is environmental. Idling cars produce emissions, and in residential areas, that affects air quality. It also creates noise pollution. So if you're someone who likes to warm up your car in the winter for 10 or 15 minutes, you might want to rethink that habit. Some states have exceptions for extreme weather, but you need to check your local laws. This one is mostly complaint-driven, meaning officers aren't actively patrolling for it. But if someone reports you, they will issue a fine. Think about this scenario. It's January. You live in Minnesota. It's 10 degrees outside. You start your car and let it warm up while you finish getting ready. Your neighbor, who's environmentally conscious and doesn't like the noise, calls the city. An officer shows up. Your car has been idling for 12 minutes. That's a $100 fine. You had no idea this was even a law. But ignorance is not a defense. Number 8, dashboard camera regulations are getting complicated. You might think having a dash cam is always a good idea, and in most cases, it is. But in 2026, 7 states have introduced laws regulating where and how you can mount a dashboard camera. The concern is that dash cams mounted in certain positions can obstruct the driver's view, which is a safety concern. In these states, your dash cam has to be mounted in a specific zone, usually behind the rear view mirror and not extending more than a few inches into the windshield area. If your dash cam is mounted outside this zone, you can be cited for obstructed view, which carries a fine of $75 to $200. Before you mount a dash cam, check your state's regulations. Most dash cam manufacturers now provide guidelines for legal mounting positions. But here's the catch. A lot of people bought and installed dash cams years ago. The mounting position was fine then. Now suddenly, it's illegal. And officers are using this as a reason to stop people. It's a revenue generator disguised as a safety measure. Number 9, emergency vehicle move over laws now include all roadside vehicles. You probably know about the move over law for police and ambulances. If you see flashing lights on the side of the road, you're supposed to move over a lane or slow down significantly. In 2026, 33 states have expanded this law to include all vehicles stopped on the roadside with hazard lights on. That means tow trucks, maintenance vehicles, and even regular cars with their hazards on. If you don't move over or slow down when you see any vehicle on the shoulder with hazards flashing, and an officer sees you fail to do so, you're getting a citation. The fines vary, but typically start around $150, and it can go up to $500 depending on the state. This law is designed to protect people who are stranded on the side of the road. But it means you need to be constantly vigilant when driving on highways and major roads. Every vehicle with hazards on requires you to move over or slow down. Miss one, and you could be looking at a large fine. And finally, number 10, traffic violation fines are now income-based in 6 states. This is a controversial one, but it's happening. In 2026, 6 states have adopted a sliding scale for traffic fines based on your income. The idea comes from European countries that have used this system for years. Basically, if you make $30,000 a year, your speeding fine might be $150. But if you make $300,000 a year, that same speeding violation could cost you $1,500 or more. The reasoning is that flat rate fines disproportionately impact low-income people. A $200 citation is devastating to someone living paycheck to paycheck, but barely noticeable to a wealthy person. This income-based system is supposed to make fines more equitable. The states testing this are California, Oregon, Washington, New York, Illinois, and Vermont. If you live in one of these states, when you get a citation, the fine amount will be calculated based on your most recent tax return. It's a huge change, and it's already sparking debates about fairness and privacy. Some people argue it's more just. Others say it's penalizing success. Regardless of where you stand on the issue, if you live in one of these 6 states, you need to know that your income level now directly affects how much you'll pay for traffic violations. So there you have it. 10 driving laws that changed in 2026, and most drivers have no idea. Number 3, the left lane law, is the one taking the most people by surprise, and the fines are no joke. These laws are being enforced right now, today, and ignorance is not a defense. Here's your action step. Take 5 minutes today to look up your state's specific rules on these 10 issues. Every state is a little different, and what applies in California might not apply in Texas. The DMV websites have all this information, and most of it is written in plain English. Knowledge is your best protection against citations, points on your license, and skyrocketing insurance rates. And listen, I make these videos because I care about keeping you informed and out of trouble. If this video helped you, click that subscribe button right now. New driving law updates release constantly, and I'm here to break them down for you before they impact your finances. Don't be the driver who learns about a law change from an officer handing you a citation. Be the driver who's ahead of the game. Subscribe now, and I will see you in the next one, where we talk about the exact words to say when you get stopped that can reduce your chances of getting a citation by 60%. Stay safe out there.